Ever found yourself in a situation where you needed to ask for something, but weren't sure how to do it without coming off as impolite or demanding? Well, you're in the right place today. We're going to explore 18 common phrases for making polite requests and inquiries. First up, do you mind if I... Here's how you can use it. Do you mind if I borrow your pen? A simple yet polite way to make a request. Next, would you mind doing me a favor and... For instance, you could say, would you mind doing me a favor and passing me that book? This phrase is perfect for when you need a little assistance. I was wondering if... is another handy phrase. An example might be, I was wondering if you would be able to give me a ride home after work. It's a gentle way to make a request. I'd appreciate it if you could... can be used like this. I'd appreciate it if you could send me the meeting notes. It clearly communicates your request and gratitude. Could you give me a hand? Is a great phrase when you need assistance. For example, could you give me a hand with this heavy box? Could you please help me with... is a polite and direct way to ask for help. Could you please help me with this report? Is how you might use it. May I ask you a question? This phrase is very useful when you want to inquire about something. For instance, may I ask you a question? How do you use this software? Our 8th phrase is, would you be so kind as to... An example might be, would you be so kind as to show me how to use this machine? If it's not too much trouble, could you... is a very considerate way to ask for something. You could use it like this. If it's not too much trouble, could you water my plants while I'm away? Is it all right with you if I... For example, is it all right with you if I take a lunch break now? It's a polite way to check for permission. I hope it's not an inconvenience, but could you... is a phrase you could use like this. I hope it's not an inconvenience, but could you lend me your laptop charger? Could I possibly have a moment of your time? Is a polite way to ask for someone's attention. For instance, could I possibly have a moment of your time to discuss our project? I'm sorry to bother you, but could you... is another polite phrase for making a request. You might say, I'm sorry to bother you, but could you explain this concept to me? Would you be willing to? Is a tactful way to ask for help. An example could be, would you be willing to babysit my kids this weekend? I'd be grateful if you could, is a phrase that expresses both your request and gratitude. You could use it like this. I'd be grateful if you could review my resume. Is there any chance you could... is a phrase that's perfect for when you're not sure if your request can be fulfilled. For instance, is there any chance you could cover my shift tomorrow? If it's not too much to ask, would you... is a considerate way to ask for something. You could say, if it's not too much to ask, would you pick me up from the airport? Finally, could I trouble you for... is a polite way to ask for something. For example, could I trouble you for a glass of water? In summary, these 18 phrases are all great ways to make polite requests and inquiries. Remember, the key to polite language is not just in the words you choose, but also in your tone and body language. So practice these phrases and soon, you'll be making requests and inquiries like a pro.